Hey guys, so I know that obviously I've got the Sonic Movie 9 idea coming out, so in the meantime I created this sort of Sonic movie Metal Sonic spin-off idea. And the idea came from, Metal Sonic 3.0 from Sonic Rush meeting the regular Metal Sonic of the Sonic movies and how they would interact with each other. So, without further ado, let's get started. Our story would begin with a flashback showing Soul Eggman adding the final touches to Metal Sonic 3.0. He states that it is his most powerful and impressive machine he's created to date. It will be his enforcer and his bodyguard. Metal Sonic 3.0 gets to speak, and he's happy to hear, and happy to serve his master, to help him with world domination. And the flashback ends showing Metal Sonic 3.0, as it's been a couple of days since he's been on the run, walking around in Green Hills' forest. He's found a little cave for himself, has been slowly adapting to sonar energy from the sun to power himself. He then gains another flashback, remembering when he first met Whiskers and how Whiskers kind of talked him down, saying that he was nothing compared to a good old-fashioned pirate, and proceeded to scratch some of his metal paint. And 3.0 did not like that. He viewed Whiskers as a coward and someone who didn't want to really be involved with Eggman's shenanigans. And one night, Metal Sonic 3.0 decided to take a walk, to examine the world around him. And as he was walking in the dark with his lights being obviously shining around, he realized that the world was very similar to other worlds, but obviously different heroes and different people. Just then, a ton of Metal Sonics appeared and ambushed him. They were prepared to fight him off, and he was a bit confused on what was going on, so he just destroys all of them, crushing them with his bare hands and using many different gadgets. However, he is then stopped by the main Metal Sonic we know in the games. 3.0 asks why hasn't he taken the shot, and then there's no answer, as he looks to see Metal, who's more fascinated with 3.0. 3.0 comes to the conclusion that this Metal Sonic can't talk, and that they share the same sort of code, as Metal Sonic 3.0 can hear the other Metals, thoughts, and they communicate with this. And just when they're about to sort of make contact, the other Metal Sonics, who are really just drones, pull out their blasters and prepare to fire, believing him to be a threat or a traitor. And they even scan, believing the different colour to be, Tails equipment. And so they begin to fire, and 3.0 gives chase, running through the forest. With Metal Sonic on the run, Metal Sonic 3.0 tries to fly away, but quickly realizes that, his flight boosters have been damaged, and he can only run. So he begins to fight off some of the Metal Sonic drones by picking up massive chunks of boulders from the ground and smacking them, crushing them, before running down into the town's alleyway of Green Hills. Before he's confronted by none other than Metal Sonic, the game version, and the two get into a fight, destroying some properties, until 3.0 gets him pinned and eventually figures out the problem. He grabs a little bit of its code and plugs it into Metal Sonic, telling him that it is time for him to speak. Not in a transformation, but his own way. Before he plugs it in and transfers the data over into Metal Sonic, giving him the ability to speak without his Neo form, as he realizes that was the error that plagued his design. Metal Sonic finally is talking and is surprised, and a ton of badniks appear surrounding the two. And it would be scanning both Metal Sonics in confusion. And as they both look as the ship lands, which is the big buzz bomber, it opens up, revealing to be Agent Stone, who's been spying on the duo for a while. He was sent by Robotnik to, obviously, do a mini invasion of Green Hills, a scout to see what the Hedgehog was really up to. And he's a bit surprised to see Metal Sonic, of all people, there. And is even more surprised to see a second Metal Sonic, but is not really too surprised, as it's all coloured. That maybe it could have been one of Tails' inventions, and it's gone rogue. But the normal Metal Sonic starts speaking, which Stone is surprised, believing that maybe his AI processors have become a little too advanced. But the new Metal Sonic begins to speak, telling him that he's not around here. He's not one of Tails' creations. He's one of Eggman's creations, but not from here. He mentions on how he has a plan for them to take care of both Sonic and the Fox, believing that with them out the way, then, simply, Eggman can rule. And Metal Sonic agrees with this idea, believing this proposition could possibly benefit them. Then Eggman would be able to take over the world. And the two then stare towards Stone. And Stone agrees to help them, since he wants to please Eggman, and he believes that the Doctor can take over the world, and he would get a promotion. Perhaps maybe being Chief Latte Maker. To which the Metal Sonics look on in a bit of confusion. And 3.0 asks Latte, to which the regular Metal Sonic tells him that is the Robotnik's liking. Well, anyway, Metal Sonic then points out a blaster at Stone, his arm cannon, and he tells him that he is going to work for them, and he is going to pilot the bee and take them to a secret base. Stone, being a little threatened, decides to comply with them, and he heads off to fly with the bee, as he takes them away on a, to go see this base. The two Metal Sonics begin to plot their big plan to tackle Sonic and Tails once and for all, with, of course, all of their plans working out. We would cut to Tails in his lab, working on some gadgets, building and all sorts. He'll be working on another wormhole generator, one that will be able to, help get to Blaze's dimension. Sonic would come running in, telling him that he's got some chili dogs if they want to see him. Tails wants to see that really badly, but then badniks start coming into the room, and they begin to start destroying all sorts of technology. And Sonic dashes in to take care of the badniks. Luckily, then the two Metal Sonics arrive to take care of Tails, who fights them off, but the two eventually tackle him to the ground and fly off with him, leaving his Miles electric. After when Sonic is done fighting the badniks, he notices that Tails is missing, and begins to look around his lab to find any information on what to do. And he finds nothing, as he tries to call out for Tails, seeing where he is all across Green Hills. When Tails wakes up, he finds himself in a cage in a laboratory, and he looks down below to see none other than, well, Agent Stone, who is even more surprised to see him. But he does tell that he's doing this for a right reason, that hopefully with one smart genius out of the way, there'll only be one smart genius, Dr. Ivo Robotnik, and that he explains that he's still loyal to him and will forever follow him to the ends of the earth. When everyone is conquered, he will be the leader of Earth, and a good one. The Metal Sonics tell him to shut up, as they prepare a machine, to which Tails asks if that's his wormhole generator, and the Metal Sonic 3.0 explains it. He talks about how the machine will take him back, but it will also bring in some other Metal Sonics. And Tails is even more surprised. It can self-replicate Metal Sonics, creating an entire army for them to use. Tails tells him that that's too much and that the machine will overload and explode, to which the Metal Sonics tell him that they don't care. And Stone, well, he comments on saying that would anyone like a latte? To which the Metal Sonics look on at him. I'll just go make them, Stone says. Back with Sonic, he and Tom and Maddie would be looking around in the lab to see some evidence. Luckily, Sonic finds the Miles electric, and he replays the events of what happened through the security cameras. And he sees that, well, there's two Metal Sonics. And Sonic recognizes the colouring. It's the same Metal Sonic that they used, that, well, Soul Eggman used when trying to take over Sonic's world. And he must obviously be there. So Sonic decides to, well, he tries to find where they could be though. However, Tom then comes in and tells him that recently that there was a signal that someone discovered something at a Green Hills toy factory, which is very far from the town, and Sonic goes to investigate. However, he accidentally trips a tripwire, which causes a ton of badniks to come out and to start firing all around, destroying everything in sight. Luckily, Sonic bursts on through and successfully takes out, well, some of the drones. But the Metal Sonics activate the portal, which creates hundreds of Metal Sonics, and Sonic takes out some of the drones, which aren't as powerful by the way. Tails manages to break free of his chain, and the two fight it out, with Stone trying to escape in the process. But he gets cornered by some of the Metal Sonic drones, with Sonic saving him. Metal Sonic fights Sonic, clashing him too, with 3.0 fighting him as well. The two Metal Sonics are strong, but Tails jumps into the equation, fighting both of them, and using some of their abilities against them. 3.0 says that he will not be defeated, but him and Metal Sonic get defeated. Metal and Stone end up retreating. Afterward, Metal Sonic 3.0 ends up setting up a self-destruct on the base, causing it to, well, blow up when it reaches its final number. And Sonic and Tails They end up getting out just as it explodes, leaving Metal Sonic 3.0, who didn't want to be saved, blowing up in the building, destroying him completely. In the post-credit scenes of the spin-off, we would see Metal Sonic and Stone flying back, with everything all destroyed, as they head back to base.